Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. President Samia visits Hanang, stresses vigilance. DA funds revolutionize lives in Zanzibar. Good evening. I'm Faidangaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. President Samia Suluhu Hassan has directed all regional commissioners in the country to take precautionary measures on dealing with natural disasters and ensure each region preserves enough food at any time. She gave the directive while visiting landslides victims in Hanang District, Manyara region, insisting that her government will continue to improve in dealing with disasters by ensuring there are enough modern equipment and experts. Here are more details.
It is the first day of the visit of President Samia Suluhu Hassan in the Manyara region. She starts the visit with inspecting the health progress of the victims.
Kawaida, janga kama hili linapotokea.
Normally, when a calamity like this occurs, it may lead to the occurrence of epidemic diseases because the washed out houses and belongings are collected and can lead to an outbreak of diseases. So let's beg all of the citizens living in this area to take necessary precautions, especially when using water sources and conducting other activities in order to avoid an outbreak of epidemic diseases. She furthermore directs the leaders of the area to be vigilant of possible outbreak of diseases. All security and safety organs should ensure that there is enough security, especially in areas that have been affected by the landslide. If possible, there should be a 24-hour surveillance in order to prevent citizens, especially children, to go near that area because I have gone around and witnessed that the area is not safe. Afterwards, President Samia turns to all regional commissioners, instructing them to take prior precautionary measures on dealing with natural disasters. Please take necessary precautions that will help you to deal with such issues quickly and ensure that there is enough food supply in this region before the government steps in and helps. As a government, we should ensure that we increase our ability of dealing with things like this. Concluding her speech, President Samia instructs the local authorities to conduct proper evaluation of the victims. Earlier, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa reaffirms government's commitment to ensure normalcy is restored in this district.
I want to promise you that we will continue to provide our service and help all victims affected by that tragedy and restore our normal activities.
On the 3rd of December, the Hanang district, especially at the Katesh area, was hit by floods and landslides that caused death of 76 people and injuring 117 others.
President of Zanzibar and the chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Munyi, says his government acknowledges the support given by the Turkish government, especially in higher education, by providing short and long-term scholarships in various fields. He made the remarks when he met and held talks with the head of the Presidency for Turks Abroad and Related Communities, YTB, from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, dealing with Foreign Affairs, Abdullah Aaron, at the State House, Zanzibar. Dr. Munyi insists that his government focuses on bringing about major reforms in all sectors, as well as building people's capacity to boost the speed of economic development.
We are looking forward to strengthen the already existing excellent cooperation that we have. And our priority right now is building human capital. So you have come at a very right time. We are having reforms in all sectors, particularly education sector. And we very much need support to train the youth of this country in the different areas. And so scholarships would be one of most important way of supporting us.
Furthermore, Dr. Munyi praises Turkey for multiple investments, while the head of the Presidency for Turks Abroad and Related Communities says his government will continue to support Tanzanian education sector, particularly in Zanzibar.
From Tanzania and 100 of them from Zanzibar. Apart from increasing the number, we also discuss to train vocational training teachers for Zanzibar. There are 2 years program for that in Turkey, and I offer them to take successful young students to Turkey.
On the other hand, the Turkish ambassador to Tanzania, Dr. Mehmet Kuluglu, has requested President Dr. Mwinyi for his government to establish a digital museum involving history and culture to attract more tourists to the country.
Asking about this museum project. Yes. Today we had a chance to see the building. Yes. This is very exciting, in fact, to make a Zanzibar museum or Museum of Zanzibar. Our friends are working about it. I mean, by the literally, by the design, by the experiences. I don't know if you had a chance to see the last and the newest museums in Turkey.
Now, from Zanzibar, let's fly to Arusha, where Minister for Natural Resources and Tourism, Angela Kairuki, has directed the Tanzania Wildlife Research Institute, TAWIRI, to conduct more research that will solve the challenges of wildlife conservation, including the interaction between wildlife and humans, and boost the tourism sector in the country. Minister Kairuki gave the directive during the 14th TAWIRI International Scientific Conference in Arusha, insisting that the government is taking all precautionary measures to ensure that wild animals are protected and preserved so that they can reproduce without external interference. Is a report by Satilela Kongola, read to you by Teddy Mparanyanga.
The challenge of approximately 61 wildlife corridors in the country being invaded by human activities is mentioned to be one of the reasons ecology interference of wild animals.
We have identified 61 wildlife corridors in the country. Out of these 61 wildlife corridors, there are 41 corridors that are faced by challenges such as presence of human activities, and 20 out of these 41 wildlife corridors have been prioritized and will be given more attention to get opened. And the result of this research will enhance conservation and will facilitate tourism. And today we have conducted a meeting, and more than 22 nations have come together today to exchange knowledge and the result of this research that we have conducted for the past 2 years.
An action that may endanger the lives of humans and wild animals. We have a strategic plan to ensure that we restore wildlife corridors. We want to remove 20 wildlife corridors. As a nation, we have 61 wildlife corridors, but 20 of them are the most affected. We thank the government for granting us a budget that we have cooperated with TAWIRI and other research institutions and other organizations such as USAID and other development stakeholders for implementing this. The government encourages more wildlife research as it's the best method to increase and protect wildlife animals.
Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, Dr. Daniel Mushi, says the meat export for the year 2022-2023 has increased to 14,000 tons from 1,774 tons in the year 2021-2022, bringing in $61 million, equivalent to 147 billion Tanzanian shillings, and has increased the meat value chain and hence contributing to the national and household income in general. He made the revelation during a meeting that brings together various stakeholders in Dar es Salaam, insisting that it is important for the government to cooperate with the private sector to produce quality livestock, while the participants of the meeting call for an increase of meat production and processing industries, asserting that meat business is very competitive.
So this meeting is important, whereby the private sector will sit with the government to discuss and build an understanding in order to increase a production of meat. And at the end of the day, we want people to realize that livestock keeping can be a source of income and wealth. And a business is a competition. If the number of industries increase, it will help us who will need to slaughter cows. So we are still facing that challenge. The main aim is to ensure that our industries get the best raw materials at all times. So we want them to understand the efforts that are put in place in one way or another should participate in ensuring that this issue is continuously growing.
In other news, seaweed growers in Mungoni village in Zanzibar are said to be recording significant profit margin of about 1,000 to 2,000 shillings per kilogram from their produce. This is a result of World Bank's IDA projects funding, which supplied funding for seaweed growing, transportation and training, a move which has led to lower expenses, higher yield and better market accessibility. Rehema Sibabili has more.
It is a visit of President of the World Bank Ajay Banga in Mungoni village seaweed farms to interact with project beneficiaries and observe directly the transformative power of IDA funding. Over 15,000 seaweed farmers who have benefited, 74% are women operating under Southwest Indian Ocean Fisheries Governance and Shared Growth Project.
The World Bank has empowered us in so many ways. We used to dry seaweed on the ground, and now we dry them in these mats. And we also thank Mama Mwinyi and Dr. Mwinyi for these tents that will help us when it's raining. We can now take our kids to school and build houses in the village.
Tunawasomesha watoto, tunajengea vijijini. Tulikuwa tunapanda mwani kwa funga fungua.
We used to plant seaweed occasionally. When this Blue Economy project came and gave us training on how to grow seaweed in a modern way, we now harvest at a larger rate.
On the other hand, Minister of the Blue Economy Suleiman Masood Makame says Zanzibar currently depends on seaweed crops for exports.
Seaweed is one of the top crops exported from Zanzibar to abroad. And this is one of the targets of the government of Zanzibar to make sure that we empower women. Mostly they engage themselves in the production of seaweeds.
Similarly, Ajay Banga, President of the World Bank, urged the government to prioritize the energy sector in order to ensure there is a steady supply of energy. This, he says, will facilitate development of numerous industries that will raise the value of seaweed crop and help farmers increase their income.
We must focus on power. 100 million is good. There's still 500 million more to go. Without power, you cannot have the internet, digital, school fees, school reading, or any of these factories to manufacture from seaweed. You need power. Everything comes from power.
As of November 2023, the IDA financed the portfolio in Tanzania was about 8.3 billion, comprising 23 national projects totaling 7.26 billion in commitments and 6 regional projects totaling 1.05 billion in commitments. Reporting from Zanzibar, Rehema Sibabili, TBC News.
The U.S. Ambassador to Tanzania, Michael Battle, urges the U.S. Peace Corps volunteers to honor the legacy left by Mwalimu Julius Nyerere and John Kennedy to sacrifice for peace and friendship around the world. He made the call in Dar es Salaam during a special ceremony to swear in 21 volunteers who will be working in various areas in the country.
The timing of this celebration is apropos. It is on the heels of International Volunteer Day, which was December the 5th. What a perfect time to recognize the service of these young, enthusiastic volunteers. The Peace Corps has been in Tanzania for almost 6 decades. So you join a long legacy of volunteers committed to peace and friendship between our two nations. You represent the very best of the United States of America. You've dedicated yourself and proven yourself with proficiency in Swahili, proficiency in dance, remarkable traditional dancers.
On the other hand, the country director of Peace Corps Tanzania, Stephanie Joseph de Goes, emphasizes the power of volunteers.
Invest in building and maintaining strong relationships within your communities. It truly is a key ingredient for successful service and for community development work. Mutual respect and friendship will facilitate the power of communities to organize around collective priorities, to mobilize resources, and to implement community-focused projects.
On the other hand, the sworn-in volunteers who will be stationed in the regions of Dodoma, Kilimanjaro and Tanga say they will collaborate with the communities to strengthen democracy.
Live in the rural communities here in Tanzania and get an even better understanding of culture here in Tanzania, share what I learned in the States, in the United States, and learn from people here in Tanzania as well, and just serve and learn and make friends here and family here in Tanzania.
Peace Corps is an international network of volunteers, community members and partners, and they work at the grassroots level to create change that lasts long after their service. Let's have a look at other stories now. Fish farmers in Bumbwini in Zanzibar have called on the World Bank to provide them with additional assistance. The farmers say in turn the government will be able to assist them with fish farming knowledge that can boost their productivity. The farmers made this call when the senior director of the World Bank and other officials visited their projects to observe how the people living there benefited from the TASAF initiative, which aims at assisting low-income households through funding from IDA, totaling around $650 million. Rehema Sababli has more.
Through IDA, the World Bank has provided $650 million to support around 400 households in Mafufuni village, where 3 initiatives have been carried out, including construction of ponds for fish farming. Speaking at various points, fish farmers said they are unable to engage in activity productively due to lack of new farming knowledge and the expense of fish feed, while other farmers outline how they have been benefited.
We ask the government and sponsors to help us with the issue of food, because so much food is consumed and we sometimes have to start begging from each other. It reached to a point we have to give them maize grains, which is not the exact food, and that is why these fish haven't grown big.
Fish food is a real challenge for us. The price is too high. It reaches up to 80 or even 90,000 shillings. And because of that, once 2 or 3 months pass by, we are left with nothing.
Through this project of TASAF, I am able to get money and take my kids to school and buy them books, uniforms, stationaries. I am also grateful that I can also buy them home supplies. I have also been able to build a small place where I can sell rice, tea, buns, soup and beans.
One of the challenges that they have talked about is the issue of modernization. Most of them don't know to conduct fishing by using modern methods. We are aware that, according to our procedure, specialists from the specified ministry should train people, but because of the number of the people here, it is hard for the specialists to help all them.
World Bank Senior Managing Director Axel Van has made it clear that half of the bank's financing funds are going to Africa, and Tanzania is eligible to receive funds through the IDA 21, while Zanzibar's Ministers of Finance and Planning, Saada Salum Mkuya, say that following the visit, expectations are high that the World Bank through the IDA will scale up the level of financing due to the size of the projects, including the reduction of restrictions.
The World Bank can help your ministry, other ministries, to help solve problems. And there are always new challenges, but the World Bank has a large program. You need to know that about half of our program in the world is going to Africa now. And that is going to stay. Tanzania is benefiting from it, but also other countries. What we want is a successful Africa and a prosperous Africa.
Our project in IDA 21, we allocate money and use it to implement various projects. In other nations, sometimes the money that is allocated is not put to use. In Tanzania, the case is different. That is why we have brought them here to witness the real situation. Hopefully next year, when we present our case, this project will be scaled up and go to another level. They want to ensure that what is being allocated goes to help a larger community and replicates the benefit.
Na tunaamini kwamba kwenye IDA 21 basi ratio yetu itakuwa ni kubwa.
The senior director also visited the Jangombe Secondary School with representatives from the World Bank. The school has received approximately 35 million in IDA funding, which has been used to build classrooms, laboratory, and IT equipment. Reporting from Zanzibar, Rehema Sababili, TBC News.
Thank you, Rehema Sababili, for that report. The Morogoro Regional Commissioner and the founder of Biotechnology Society of Tanzania, Adam Malima, says it is important to ensure that society gets a deeper understanding of the importance of biotechnology as part of shaping the development of the nation. He made the call during the opening session of the annual meeting of Biotechnology Society of Tanzania earlier today.
BST has many challenges ahead, but as the founding chairperson, I have seen a lot of development in the last 7 years. I'm hoping for even more development. And I think the next 7 years is going to be even more beneficial. But right now, our main agenda is to have the Biotech Society of Tanzania engage more. And it has to be relevant. It has to be seen as a contributing factor to the socio-economic development of Tanzania.
On the other hand, Chairman of Biotechnology Society of Tanzania, Professor Peter Msola, says they have strategies in place that will help to increase the number of new members of the Biotechnology Society of Tanzania in order to increase expertise in the area.
Plan, which has about 8 components, one of which is to build awareness, create awareness for the well understanding of the utilization, I must say, sustainable utilization of science, technology, and innovation, and in particular, biotechnology for socio-economic development of our country.
The Biotechnology Society of Tanzania, BST, is a non-profit, non-governmental organization dedicated to promoting advancement and use of biotechnology in the country. Now, before we wind up the local news, let's take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Do not miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Stay tuned for all the latest in international news. Now let's have a look at international news as compiled and read by Ahmed Salim.
A state of emergency has been declared in Seychelles after a massive explosion at an industrial area on the mainland Mahe, as well as flooding. Seychelles President Wavo Ramkalawan has ordered everyone except essential workers to stay at home. A number of people have been injured in the blast that ripped through the zone, flattening commercial buildings and wrecking nearby housing. Several people have also been evacuated from their homes. Leaders from China and the European Union have met in Beijing for the first time in 4 years and said they should not see each other as rivals and must address their differences. During the meeting in Beijing on Thursday, Chinese President Xi Jinping warned the top EU officials that China and Europe should not engage in confrontation due to their different political systems. Chinese state broadcaster CCTV said President Xi also urged the EU to eliminate all kinds of interference in the bilateral relationship. Meanwhile, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told Xi that China was the EU's biggest trading partner, but there are clear imbalances and differences that must be addressed. And the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has defended his Rwanda bill as the right approach as pressure mounts within his Conservative Party. Sunak says the bill is the toughest immigration law ever and insists it will successfully prevent further legal challenges stopping flights taking off to Rwanda. But he admits that the European Court of Human Rights will still be able to challenge asylum seekers' deportations. The PM's comments came after Robert Jenrick resigned as immigration minister, saying the government's emergency Rwanda legislation does not go far enough.
That was international news. Sports news up next. And in sports news, Young Africans head coach Miguel Gamondi says they will play attacking football against their rivals Medeama in CAF Champions League to ensure victory and put them in the right direction to qualify for the quarter-finals of the African Showpiece. Speaking during the match press conference in Ghana, head coach Gamondi insists that the match will be difficult for both sides, but they will do everything they have to beat their rivals, while striker Kennedy Musonda says players are ready for the clash.
For us, it's a must-winning game if we are focusing to qualify for this group stage. Will not easy, we know that, but we will do all our best to get the point. If we are not only one point for 6, but really the team doing well with the serve, we make some mistake and we need to learn from that. But as I said before, we are determined today in the final preparation to be tomorrow and hopefully get the 3 points in this difficult game.
Young Africans have played 2 games of the group stage of CAF Champions League, lost 1, drew 1 match, and sit at the bottom of Group D with 1 point in hand. In other sports news, the Dar es Salaam Boda Drivers Association's chairman, Michael Masawe, believes various sports competitions will help them to maintain unity among them and bring awareness on how to use road signs so as to prevent accidents.
We had more than 120 teams participate in the stadium for the first round we hosted. Our drivers were there to gain new knowledge of the road surface as we observed. It helped us in our daily activities. That's why we are here to thank, because we had known this knowledge before.
Speaking during the unveiling of sports gear for the top 16 teams in the Boda soccer competition, Masawe expresses his belief that sports fosters unity, while the players acknowledge that sports and road safety education will play a crucial role in their profession. Quarterfinals of Boda soccer competition kicks off this Saturday in different football pitches in Dar es Salaam. And that's it for sports. But before we wind up the news bulletin, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello dear viewers, welcome to the next 24 hours of the forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. My name is Margaret Masawe. Rainfall signals are still seen in many areas of the country, especially over Lake Victoria Basin towards the western part of the country. Tonight we expect cloudy condition and thunder showers over Lake Victoria Basin, while western part of the country, southwestern highlands are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, thunder showers over a few areas. Northeastern highland, central part of the country, the entire coast and Ruvuma expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rain showers over a few areas. Tomorrow we expect cloudy condition and thunder showers over western part of the country, southwestern highland, Ruvuma, South Morogoro and southern coast. Lake Victoria Basin, northeastern island, central part of the country, south northern coast and North Morogoro are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, thunder showers over few areas and sun periods. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, we thank you for watching us.
And on that note, we are ending our news bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of everyone who was responsible for this bulletin, I am Faida Ngaga. Good night.